Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is potentially repeating history, while Ethereum has just formed a new pattern in the short term, which I'll talk about later in the video, so make sure to watch to the end. First of all, just giving you a really quick update here on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is technically still within the much larger bullish trend, which I've been talking about basically every day since the beginning of this year. And so basically on the larger time frames, I'm still leaning much more bullish than bearish, but just in the somewhat shorter term, obviously in recent weeks, we have experienced a bit of a short-term pullback, which is mainly due to things like bearish divergences currently playing out, resulting in a lack of bullish momentum, at least in the short term. But with that being said, a bearish divergence does not necessarily invalidate the bullish trend, because as of right now, we're still seeing significant higher lows and higher highs. And on top of that, the super trend indicator is still sitting in the green, indicating a larger bullish trend playing out. And now, if you're zooming into the daily Bitcoin chart, technically speaking, we still have a bearish divergence also playing out here on the daily time frame, which I've been talking about basically every day since all the way back up here when the price was at around $31,000. And obviously ever since then, we have seen a bit more of a shorter term pullback, basically reduced bullish momentum, at least in the shorter term. But if we start to see a reversal in the daily RSI, which would basically look like higher lows and higher highs beginning to form, or ideally a breakout in the RSI above that descending line of resistance, then in that case, those signals could potentially help invalidate this previous bearish divergence. But at least for now, we have not yet seen those invalidation signals confirm, which means as of right now, this bearish divergence is technically still active, which means we should not be expecting a significant amount of bullish momentum, at least in the short term. And if you're looking at the daily Bitcoin MACD, as of right now, this is getting extremely close to a bullish cross, which obviously would be a bullish signal for the price of Bitcoin. But with that being said, as of right now, it's still showing relatively low momentum on the daily time frame, which once again means we should not necessarily be expecting a significant move like this or like these moves, for example. And instead, we're likely going to see relatively mild price action, nothing too significant. And now, just staying on the daily time frame, taking a look at these falling wedge patterns, and right now, as of recording this video, we are potentially seeing a breakout to the upside from this new falling wedge pattern that I've been talking about over the last few days. And as always, a falling wedge pattern is technically a bullish pattern, because roughly around 2/3 of the time a falling wedge breaks out to the upside, and around 1/3 of the time a falling wedge actually breaks to the downside. And so statistically speaking, it is more likely to break out to the upside than to the downside. And obviously that's exactly what we saw back here just a few months ago. And obviously the outcome of that breakout was a massive bullish movement, which pretty quickly hit the technical price target for that previous falling wedge pattern, which is simply the top of the wedge. And so if this potential breakout confirms here on the daily time frame, then in that case, that would actually set up a bullish price target at the top of this wedge, which is sitting at roughly around 31,500. But once again, we first need to actually confirm a breakout above this resistance, with ideally at least a daily candle close above around 29.3k approximately. And if you want to wait for even more confirmation, then ideally if we could also see a daily candle close above this previous high, which if you're looking at the candle closes is sitting at around 29.7k, then once again a confirmed daily candle close above that level would also act as extra confirmation, basically confirming more of a bullish trend reversal if you're talking about the shorter term trends. And as always, the point of invalidation for this potential breakout would simply be a confirmed break back below 29.3k with candle closes back below that level, because obviously if that happens, once again that invalidates the breakout and invalidates the pattern altogether. And now staying on the daily time frame again, taking a look at this massive ascending line of support, once again we're technically still looking more bullish than bearish if you're talking about the larger multi-month long bullish trend. But if you're talking about the shorter term trend, as I've been saying for the last 3 to 4 weeks or so, we we are technically looking slightly more bearish than bullish if you're talking about the shorter term trend. But as I just said earlier, if we confirm a breakout above the previous high, confirming new higher highs, and if we ideally invalidate that previous bearish divergence on the daily time frame, then those sort of signals will help to confirm more of a trend reversal in the short term trend. But basically non-stop since the beginning of this year, we have remained within the larger bullish trend. And now if you're zooming into the 8-hour Bitcoin chart, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, once again we have that 38.2% Fibonacci level of support sitting at around 28.9k. And as I mentioned in my last video, we did actually see a candle close on the 8-hour time frame below that level of support, which technically acted as one initial confirmation signal for a break to the downsides. But as I mentioned in my last video, we would likely only see a continued move to the next level of support if we fail to invalidate that break to the downside very quickly. And as we can see right here, that break to the downside invalidated very quickly by basically seeing another candle close back above that previous level of support. And so once again, as I mentioned in my last video, the point of invalidation is simply confirming a new candle close back above that level, which is exactly what we saw. And so the moment we saw that invalidation, once again, that invalidated the break to the downside. And as always, if you want to wait for extra confirmation anytime we see a break of a significant level, then we can simply look for more candle closes, or ideally candle closes on larger time frames, like for example a daily candle close below that support line, which did not actually happen. And so once again, the less confirmation we have, the less confident we can really be in that actually breaking. But the more confirmation we have, the more confident we can be that we are really breaking in that direction. But with that being said, as I've been saying over the last 3 to 4 weeks, once again, we're technically still within more of a shorter term bearish trend. If you're looking at the lower highs and lower lows here on these slightly smaller time frames, obviously this is technically the price of Bitcoin trending to the downside in the shorter term. But once again, this is currently occurring within that much larger bullish trend. And so now just staying on the 8-hour time frame, looking at the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI, as we can see right now, we have just confirmed a new bullish divergence here on the 8-hour time frame, because over the last one day, we actually confirmed a new lower low in the 8-hour candle closes, while also confirming a new higher low in the 8-hour Bitcoin RSI, which once again is a new bullish divergence currently confirmed. And so far, this has been confirmed with one initial candle close in the green. And obviously, if we can see some more candle closes confirm in the green, this would add extra confirmation, actually confirming the fact that we do have a new bullish divergence here on the 8-hour time frame. And as always, a bullish divergence means that we're due to see reduced bearish momentum, which basically means we're likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action, if not a slight bullish relief just in the short term. But once again, a bullish divergence doesn't necessarily invalidate the short-term bearish trend by itself. And so in order to invalidate this short-term bearish trend, as I said earlier, we need to ideally break out above this previous high and also invalidate the bearish divergence on the daily time frame and confirm that breakout on the daily time frame from that falling wedge pattern. And so overall, just a quick summary for Bitcoin on the much larger time frames. I've basically been non-stop bullish since the beginning of this year, which obviously is playing out as expected. But on the slightly smaller time frames, obviously over the last few weeks, we've been within a shorter term bearish trend. But right now, just in the imminent short term, due to this new bullish divergence, we're basically taking a small pause from that short term bearish trend. But anyway, now getting into the Ethereum part of this video, this is on the daily ETH to US dollar chart. And right now, the price of ETH is currently bouncing from this important area of support, sitting in between around 1770 to 1820. And as for the daily Ethereum price oscillators, right now, the daily Ethereum RSI is currently looking neutral to bearish, while the daily Ethereum MACD is currently showing very low momentum, as I've been saying for the last 1 to 2 weeks, which once again means we should not necessarily expect a massive move like what we saw back here, for example. And instead, we're likely going to see relatively mild price action just in the shorter term here, nothing too significant. And now, if you're zooming into the 8-hour ETH to US dollar chart, looking at the Fibonacci retracement tool, obviously over the last one day, we did see an 8-hour candle close below the 50% retracement level, which was sitting at around around 1820 to 1830 approximately. But pretty much immediately after we saw that 8-hour candle close below that line of support, which was one initial confirmation signal confirming a break to the downsides, we basically immediately saw a break back above that line of support with candle closes back above that level, which essentially immediately invalidated that break to the downside below that line of support. And so at least for now, this line of support is still currently in play in case we do drop back to the downside. Once again, expect support at around 1820 to 1830. But if we further confirm a break below that support with some more confirmation signals like more 8-hour candle closes or a stronger confirmation signal like a daily candle close below that support, then in that case, the next important support is the golden pocket sitting in between around 1760 to 1770 approximately. And as for resistance, in case we end up seeing more of a short-term bounce, then we should expect some strong resistance at around 1870 to 1880 approximately. And above that level, we should also have resistance up at around 1930. But if you're zooming into the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart, we immediately have some resistance right here at around 1850 approximately. But what we also now have here on the 4-hour ETH to US dollar chart is a new bullish divergence just in the short term, because obviously over the last one day we have confirmed new lower lows in the price of ETH in the candle closes, while also confirming higher lows in the RSI. And so once again, this is simply a bullish divergence, meaning we're due to see a bit of a pause from this short-term bearish trend, which usually plays out in the form of either choppy sideways price action, if not a slight bullish relief just in the short term, talking about the coming days. And now, if you want to know how to make a lot of money in crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or simply chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how to make money if the price is bullish or bearish using AI, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that's everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.